Hello YouTube, Chloe here and welcome back to another video. So I wanted to share my hypergamous thoughts on NBA player Nick Young and his recent third edition, his third child with his baby mama Keonna Green, a former cast member on the VH1 reality series Basketball Wives. So for those of you who aren't aware of who Nick Young is an NBA champion and a former shooting guard slash small forward for the LA Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. And currently, Nick isn't in the league. He seems to be on hiatus, but as of now, he hasn't played in the NBA this year. And Nick was at one point famously engaged to Australian rapper Iggy Azalea. That is until the engagement was broken off by Iggy due to Nick Young's appetite for infidelity. Now, Nick being a young, black, and rich NBA player, and when I say young, for men that means under 40, Nick is currently, I believe, 34. Nick obviously has a history of doing what most NBA players do, which is to have at it when it comes to the buffet of women that come with financial success. He likes to sow his oats. This is what drives and motivates men to want success in the first place, and that's having access to beautiful women. And being a hoe, a male hoe, is a natural response for young men who have the means to impress women. The dream for most men is to have their pick of women, and it's pretty much the dream of all dreams for most heterosexual men. And no woman, doesn't matter her color, whether white, black, Asian, mixed, exotical, uh, whether a white woman like Iggy Azalea or a chocolate beauty and his baby mama, Keonna Green, was going to stop Nick from digging in the guts of other women. Nick Young is clearly not ready to slow down or settle down. That's just how men are. This is how they are wired. This is how they think. Now, I wanted to make this video to address why Nick Young hasn't married or yet married his baby mother, Keonna Green. And I wanted to use this story to highlight to women that as women, especially as hypergamous women, you are the person who gets to decide the role that you're going to play in a man's life. You are the person who ultimately has the power to decide how a person is going to treat you. And most men will treat you according to how you treat yourself. Men do not go by your words, ladies. They go by your standards and they get their clues on how to treat you from you. A man will only treat you the way you allow him to and the way he sees that you treat yourself. So, when a woman accepts a poor behavior, when a woman lacks boundaries, a man will respond accordingly. Women truly do not understand how much power they have as women to get what they want out of men, which is why you need to subscribe to this channel. Now, the reason why he hasn't married his baby mother is because she doesn't see herself as the prize. Plain and simple. She sees Nick as the prize. After baby number one, she never valued herself enough to walk away and say goodbye. She is the kind of woman who will always keep the door open for Nick Young. And she has accepted that Nick is not done sowing his oats. She is making the common ride or die mistake of giving Nick her loyalty without reciprocity. And this is the common trap for women, especially for women who pride themselves on being loyal. These are the type of women who have been conned into accepting the role of wifey. But what Keonna fails to understand is that the reason why he hasn't married her is because Nick doesn't see her as the last stop on his train. And Nick also doesn't want to be financially responsible for her well-being, which is a huge red flag. And quite honestly, this is a telltale sign of his immaturity. He is not in a masculine place where he's ready to be the best example for his children as a husband. He is immature. He has more growing up to do. And that is the risk that women take when they date men who are under 40. This is why women are always recommended to date men who are 10 to 15 years older than them. And I know that a lot of women are turned off by the idea of dating a man that is significantly older. But men who are older and accomplished tend to put away childish behavior and immature behavior. Men who are older tend to be wiser. Their need to stab everything moving tends to dramatically slow down. They have the experience to understand that being immature and that being irresponsible and that being a poor example will bring nothing to their lives but dysfunction, craziness, and chaos. This is why future Hendrix is all over the place, because men with money who are under 40 are still pretty much on the prowl. Now, as for Nick Young's baby mama, Keonna Green, bless her beautiful heart, but a hard head makes a soft behind. I think her mindset is that uh, I think her mindset is in that typical hood trap of being with a man who has marked his territory so that no one else would want her all the responsibilities of her three children. And she's making the mistake that most women who aren't hypergamous do, which is seeing Nick as the prize and not herself. She doesn't see herself as the prize. She sees Nick as the prize. And when you see the man as the prize, he will have his way with you. He will have you chasing the carrot because his needs come first. And she's with Nick, but more than likely, she just wants all of her kids to be by the same man. And she more than likely does not care about what other women have to say about her situationship with her baby father, because most black baby mamas, if we're going to be honest, are in situationships that are 10 times worse than hers. In Keonna's mind, even if Nick doesn't marry her, he isn't a straight up unaccomplished Dusty. In her mind, having his baby having his babies makes her the winner, especially the winner over Iggy. In her mind, Nick has reached the pinnacle of NBA success by becoming a champion, and that success is now a part of her children's DNA. So, Keonna is going to hold on tight to Nick because she's probably been competing with groupie energy since her and Nick have been together, and I understand that they are childhood sweethearts. So, or high school sweethearts, excuse me, pardon me. In her mind, being an unmarried mom is not the biggest deal in the world. And if we're going to be honest here, her situation could be worse, because nothing is worse than a woman who has to be a mom and a sole provider for her child because the man who got her pregnant was a Dusty. Now, I completely get the ideal that is that a woman should marry before she carries, right? And some of you may not like to hear this, but at least her baby daddy is someone she can take to the cleaners and get a real child support check. You have women out here who put men on child support and they get dust, they get lint, they get donut hole. You have women out here who try to get child support and these Dusties will straight up quit their jobs. You have women out here who struggle to put food on the table because of who they laid up with. And that is what I call hypogamous suffering. Because most women want a family and they want babies, but they never think about how they're going to pay for them in the long run. So, of course, women are going to try to humiliate and shame Keonna and embarrass Keonna for not being married. But in Keonna's case, it's not the end of the world if they never marry, but she definitely needs to make this her last baby, and she definitely needs to stop having sex with Nick Young and giving him the cow and the milk for free, because she is not his wife, and he knows it. And I think Keonna is just holding on and holding her breath, waiting for Nick to get the all of the lust out of his system. And she thinks that in the end, that she's going to be the one to get the prize. In her mind, she thinks that she's going to be rewarded for being the loyal ride or die come up woman that tolerates the ups and downs of Nick's immaturity. She's the type of woman that will dupe herself into believing that Nick will someday see her value and see the light, that somehow he's going to magically see her worth. But we all know that men are not wired to be loyal to how much a woman sacrifices for them. Men are wired to be loyal to themselves. So that's all I have to say on this for now. Nick Young is an immature clown who pretty much at this point is embarrassing Keonna and his kids, and his baby mama is being the ultimate pick me by allowing Nick to use up her best years, because men like Nick will meet a feminine woman who has boundaries and standards and will marry her in a month. So stay tuned for more videos to come, and I will catch up with you in the next one.